The man who founded the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration is now accused of taking and not repaying $100 million. The nonprofit has since filed for bankruptcy, and a South Florida law firm has filed a lawsuit in the case. Luis Capasso is a single dad who worries about both of his daughters, but especially Elena.
Elena's only 23. She's got her whole life ahead of her.
Elena was born with Down syndrome. Capasso says at birth, the doctor made a mistake, and Elena and her family received enough money that was supposed to take care of her for the rest of her life.
I just want to follow my dreams and get my own job.
What would you like to be?
I want to make my own music and to make my own movies.
In 2003, when she was 2 years old, Capasso says a special needs trust fund was created to manage that money through the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration. The nonprofit based in St. Petersburg has been holding vulnerable people's trust for 24 years. Over the years, what have you requested and been granted?
Well, her dental work, eye exams, I just had a bedroom set.
But on February 9th, the center filed for bankruptcy. When did things take a turn?
I received a letter in the mail about 4 weeks ago. It's her yearly statement, investment, this and that, what she has in there. A week later, 3 weeks ago, I get a letter in the mail saying that the account has been depleted. There's nothing left in there.
Capasso says Elena had $250,000 in her trust. He says annual reports of his daughter's account showed that money was slowly depleting year after year. And as of last month, that money is all gone.
This money was put in there for her in the future.
The center says the Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing was necessary because the center's new leadership discovered that 2 years ago, $100 million of special needs trust fund dollars disappeared. The center turned to a Tampa law firm to investigate. The firm discovered the fund dollars were paid out through a loan from 2009 through 2020 to Boston Finance Group, a company controlled by the center's founder, Leo Govoni. The loan was to be repaid in full no later than January 1st, 2017. But the center says despite that deadline, Boston Finance Group continued to draw funds. Despite the center's demands for all records and repayment of the loan from Govoni, the center says so far they have received nothing from him or his company. 8 on your side wanted to ask Leo Govoni about the missing money, but despite calls and emails to both Govoni and his attorney, we've heard nothing in response. When the center realized that this had happened, when something had happened, how much money was missing?
The amount we know right now is $100 million.
The center says its new leadership learned 2 years ago that there was a $100 million loan to Boston Finance Group, a company controlled by the center's founder, Leo Govoni, and his associates. The loan transfers began in 2009, around the same time Govoni stepped down from the center's board. But court documents reveal Govoni still had control and influence over the center's operations and finances. How was it discovered that these funds went missing?
There was some turnover and a letter was discovered.
That unsigned letter dated from November 2021, according to the bankruptcy filing, was left behind by Govoni's daughter, Caitlin Janicki, following her resignation in April 2022. She had been serving as the vice president. The center says it doesn't know why Janicki left, but it caused everything to begin unraveling.
Then began sort of pulling at threads while they still managed the trust funds, trying to figure out what happened here. Where is this money gone?
The center discovered the $100 million loan was supposed to be repaid in full no later than January 1st, 2017. But the center says despite that deadline, Boston Finance Group continued to draw funds and has not paid it back. The center also says during all of this, Govoni tried to take back the center 3 separate times. Latham says during the summer of 2023.
They contacted the law firms and said, we haven't been able to figure this out internally. We'd like you to help us figure it out.
The center filed for bankruptcy on February 9th. Days later, this notice was sent to families impacted, including the Capassos.
Now at 6, a stinging arrest and a betrayal of trust. Amazon purchases oral surgery, personal utility bills. Those are just a few of the items Bradenton police tell us that a college biology professor was paying for with a nonprofit's money. That money was supposed to be going to research for sharks and rays. As Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon reports for us tonight, detectives say this professor abused her role as the nonprofit's treasurer.
Those who worked with Christine Bedore tell us they are shocked and hurt by her actions. Bradenton police says she put her own interests above those of her colleagues. Dr. Christine Bedore, an associate professor at Georgia Southern University, focuses her research on sharks and rays. She's even been featured in the Nat Geo series When Sharks Attack 360.
Dr. Bedore is highly published. She is clearly very smart and clearly in support of the marine biology community.
But in a shocking turn of events, Bedore's lab coat has been traded for handcuffs and a jail uniform, as the Bradenton Police Department says she was stealing from the organization she was a part of.
She appeared to be putting her own personal desires above the work of other scientists.
The American Elasmobranch Society, which is dedicated to shark and ray research, reached out to Bradenton police in November after they noticed funds missing from their account. The nonprofit, comprised of scientists from across the country, receives donations to support scientific and student research. Bedore was treasurer of the group. As the investigation unfolded, Bradenton detectives uncovered transactions that led to Bedore's personal account.
To lose at least $300,000 because someone wanted to put a down payment on a car or have a surgery or subscribe to, personal services.
Bedore faces 2 felony charges and the judgment from the scientific community she belongs to.
She actually ended up possibly hurting that research because she put her own personal desires above the scientific community.
The judge gave Bedore a $200,000 bond, and if she bails out, she will be on supervised release.
Kujichagulia.